channel right here on YouTube. We've been doing classics for a while here, and we are live. We are live tonight. I've got some guests coming up in the next couple weeks, month, and we will be going live. So stay tuned for that. But we got a great guest tonight, David Glidden, and I will introduce him in a second. But first of all, it is going to be a spooky night, you guys. We got overnight tonight. I put together a really, really good spooky playlist for you guys to listen to all night tonight. There's a really good version of Dracula all through the middle of the night. So, put the candles, light a candle, sleep in the dark, whatever. But let me say hi to everybody here. WWM, what is going on? Happy Friday to all. Yes, yes, yes. Connie Cleary, Edward Stewart. Who else is here? You guys still got all flow on in here. Vicky Alcorn is here. All the links to what we're going to be talking about tonight, David Glidden and his YouTube channels and all that are listed underneath in the description. So please go check that out. I will ask him about both of those. There's one called Haunting History, and the other one is Boogeyman Radio. I think he plays a part in both of them. I know he produces stuff, but he is a documentary filmmaker. Into the Light, the Spook Light phenomenon. He's done 1 and 2, and he's part of a paranormal team. And I think we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Let me introduce David Glidden here right now. Hey, David Glidden, happy birthday, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Everybody say a happy birthday to David. No, whatever. It's
hi, everybody.
You don't have to. If you only knew the name he was going to actually choose down there underneath for his name. Anyways, CM, what is going on? Good to see you, Carl. Good to see everybody popping in. Angel K.
What's up,
what
Angel?
Is going on? Yep, Dave knows Angel K. Yep. Good to see you, Angel K.
Very gifted psychic medium.
Oh, there you go. Well, hey, get a hold of me, Angel K. Hey. Listen, we are here tonight to talk to David Glidden about everything he does and a little bit of horror too, probably.
Yeah, buddy.
Because of course he's a horror fan, right, David?
Gotta be. If you're gonna be in this field, you have to love horror. You gotta enjoy it.
If you love being scared, or yes, if you're not scared of things that you're kind of confronted with in the paranormal field when you go out on investigations, then you're going to love horror for the most part. Most people do. But you're right off the bat, favorite horror film of all time, Dave? Let me know.
Should we have a drum roll?
Yeah.
Actually, my absolute favorite horror movie of all time is the 1968 George Romero Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Black and white.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you said black and white. Yes. Yeah.
Because there is a color. Also right up there, I mean, it's just right under that, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yep.
Right under
1982, great year for horror. The Thing, up there. I tell you what, really close behind for me, that thing. I love The Thing. I mean, it's one of the greatest horror films of all time.
The practical effects are awesome.
But the original is something I love almost as equal to The Thing from 1982. People think I'm nuts, but I'm old school horror. So, but yeah, good picks. Mine is Rosemary's Baby.
Ooh.
Has been for a long time. I love it. It doesn't hurt that Mia Farrow is kind of the star in that movie.
Not at all.
Yeah. Hey, Tokar, what is going on? Good to see you. So let's get into what you do. You do a lot of things, David. You do. You're part of a paranormal team, right?
I started a paranormal team way back when, like in 2006.
Okay.
These days it's way back then, but
right.
Yeah, in 2006 I started a team, and we worked as a team all the way up until 2011. Some changes happened, and I changed the team name and stuff like that, and some people left, and continued with a new team all the way up until just a few years ago, and then we just kind of ran as a few people, and we just kind of did our own thing, and now I'm just really running solo. I'll team up with other investigators and stuff on investigations. We'll collab, and it's kind of fun that way. It's more interesting to me because you get different ideologies, different experiments, different theories and techniques. So it's a lot of fun doing it that way. No less drama.
I hear you. Just collab with a bunch of people, get
Yeah,
together, do your things. Hey, mighty Orbots, what's going on? And feel free, you guys, once the show gets rolling, to ask questions if you got any.
for sure. Bring them on.
Definitely, I'm sure. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But that brings me to then haunting history. This is
Yes,
kind of a. Do you still have a show? I know the YouTube channel still has stuff going on haunted history. Um, do you have any
so
kind of show going on?
with haunting history, we did that. We've got 6 seasons of that show
Okay.
on our channel, plus like a an extras kind of season playlist. So
Okay.
technically, there's like 7 seasons. But as far as the show goes, I've kind of put a stop to that
Okay.
because some things were changing, and
Okay.
you know, at one point, it gets to be a little much when you're kind of doing everything.
Yep.
And
I hear you. Yeah.
but some things are floating around there. I've got a distributor for my documentary films, and they are taking up haunting history and putting it out there as well. Hopefully on Tubi or Roku, Amazon TV, Fire TV, or Apple TV, some of these other
Nice.
things. So the season 6 of Haunting History will, for these other streaming services, will be like season 1. And if it
Nice.
has some
Okay.
success, then we'll probably pick up and keep going with that. But I've got some other projects in mind. So
Okay. So season 6, looking at, are they half-hour shows?
yeah, they'll float anywhere from a half hour to about 50 minutes. I try to keep them trimmed down as much as possible. Uh, I think it's important to state that a lot of the shows we don't catch anything. We're not out there to lie to you
Right.
and whoop it up,
Yeah. Yeah.
but our focus was, when we did the show, when we started it, was to present the history of the locations that we're investigating in a more direct manner. We let the people that run these places tell the history. Because we could look up stuff, but we'd cross our information.
Yeah.
So the people that are involved with these locations, if we let them tell it, it'll be a little probably a lot more accurate than what we would be able to do. And on top of that, we always felt these locations, they a lot of them are museums, a lot of them are not government funded. They get money from donations and events and stuff like that. So if there's nobody that knows about these places, then there's nobody visiting them. And if they can't get visitors, they'll lose funding, they'll shut down, and eventually these places disappear, and you'll never know that they're in your backyard. So that's something we
Yeah.
really wanted to help kind of put out there, was try to get people to get interested in their local history.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, that was a problem back in the day, that people just started doing these shows just to get publicity for their places. But
Yeah.
that's where you got to kind of sift through all of that BS that you get through, in the paranormal field that we deal with
Mhm.
right now. But
Oh yeah.
I do like your approach. It's like, go there, tell the history, let the people tell the stories, the history, the folklore behind the
Yeah.
location. And then if you happen to pick anything up during your investigation, that only lends to their stories and all that. So I do like that approach. That is going, because you're not going to find, you know, EVPs in every location. It's just not going
Exactly.
to happen.
Yeah.
But there are shows that do have that happen.
Yeah. If you float around YouTube right now, there's about 100 shows that people are putting together and throwing out there,
Yeah.
and it's demon this or demon
Yeah.
that, or like unbelievable paranormal activity. It's like, not every time you go out, you're not catching this stuff. And if you
No.
are catching it, it's like 1 or 2 pieces. It's not like boom, 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 all this stuff.
Yeah.
For instance, the last episode of Haunting History season 6, we visited Stone Line Inn in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Now, this is a very notorious haunt. It's probably one of the most haunted places in Oklahoma. There's so much stuff out there about this place. Well, when we went, we didn't catch anything. We, in fact, debunked some of the experiences that we were having. And we showed that. We showed, okay, this is what we were hearing, guys. This is not anything, you know. So we don't
Yeah.
mind showing that. There's honestly, there's a group of people that want to be scared, and then there's a group of people that want the truth, and we kind of side with the truth seekers.
Yeah. No, and that's good. That's good. That's the way you should do it, because the we
100%
really,
WTF.
yeah. Hey, WTF, good to see you. And Sweet Indigo is here. Dennis, I think Travis, good to see you guys popping in here. I mean, yeah, you're right. You either go the entertainment route, and people don't care if it's true or it's false.
Yeah.
They just want to be entertained. People like me, you know, they who's seeking answers, really want to know the truth. So it's people like you that actually do that, and that's pretty darn cool. So
I'm pretty blunt about everything, and I
yeah.
have no problem calling people out. In fact, I have a YouTube series or YouTube channel that I started not too long ago called the Paratainment Review, in which
Okay.
I review all these paranormal shows on YouTube, on
Oh boy.
Discovery, and all that. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I just did a
Yeah.
live that was, man, it was something.
Well, do you get in trouble a little bit there,
Oh,
covering people's stuff, or
n-
it's touchy
yes
sometimes?
and no, because here's the problem: is, you know, a lot of these people I know,
Okay.
and I'm not saying this to wave a flag and boast or anything, but like I
Yeah.
know a lot of these people that are on TV that have TV shows and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to call them out on stuff. I'll ask them straight up if this is what happened, or you know, what was the
Right.
situation about something if I see it. But you know, the only trouble I've ever really gotten into from that channel was just I had a video got blocked because of copyright crap. But now
Yeah.
doing a radio show, I did call out somebody by name on a
Okay.
radio show, and they ended up threatening the show host with a lawsuit. I'm like, you show
Yeah.
host didn't obviously do anything. It was me, and they
Uh,
would not come after me. So I
okay.
tried. They just wouldn't, because I had
Okay.
some
Okay.
dirt.
Well, there's a lot of channels out there who cover like other like YouTube channels that do paranormal and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's you try and they use like video clips and stuff like that of their channel. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where, you know, they come back and they're like, yeah, listen, I don't allow you to use that. You're putting us, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
uh, but that sounds very interesting for sure. So I'm trying to think. Let's get right into you. You've done a couple documentary
Mhm.
films. Tell me a little bit about that and talk about the spook light phenomena. It's weird that, I mean, I kind of get what you're talking about there, but it's kind of titled a little bit different than what I've heard before. So you
Mhm.
probably did that on purpose. I mean, you know,
Yeah. So
so yeah.
I live around Joplin, Missouri,
Okay.
and Joplin has this light anomaly that has been appearing for over 200 years. The Army Corps of Engineers has gone out there to try to explain what it is, and their deduction was that it was a light of an unknown origin. So this legend of this light, they call it the spook light,
Hmm.
or they have many different names like Devil's Promenade and all this stuff. But spook light is something that's quick and easy, and you know, around here we know it. So it's not a very talked about subject in the paranormal field. Like there's literally nobody that's done like a feature length documentary or anything like that on it. And a friend of mine, Josh Hurd, who runs Malvern Manor,
Okay.
he and I had been talking about doing a film together, and I was like, well, there's this that's basically untouched, and we started researching it. And when we researched it, we started discovering that there's a lot of places around the world that have this phenomenon that's happening, and people can't explain most of them.
Mm.
So we picked 3 locations for the first film, and we set off to spend 3 days, 2 nights at each location. And like we did historical research on the area, on the legends and lores and stuff like that. And then we also tried to capture it to document it.
Okay.
And we picked a place in Iowa. We picked the Joplin Spook Light, and then we picked the Brown Mountain Lights, or North Carolina. And
Very well known. That one's probably the most known, I think.
probably
Yeah.
there's the Hasdalen Lights in Norway. That's actually got an observatory built underneath it for them to study it. Which those lights over there are basically ball lightning.
Okay.
So,
well, you know what? Stop right there real quick, and then
Yeah.
we'll get back into you talking about that. They came up and said it's ball lightning. How did they come to that conclusion?
with the Hasdalen lights, I mean, ball lightning is basically between 2 points of a mountain or
Right.
2 points of the earth that's elevated. When electricity charges, it's like it's like putting two magnets together that are pushing their poles. It kind of feels like you're rotating around a ball. Well, when this energy is collecting, it usually collects in this form of a sphere. And it only lasts for seconds at a time. But with the light anomalies, people are seeing these for extended periods of time, like minutes. The Marfa lights are another one that's mysterious. CM had posted that one in there.
Yeah.
That's another one that's been linked to being what I term as a spook light or light anomaly. The thing about the Marfa lights, there's an Air Force base really close to Marfa. So maybe something military going on with that. I don't know. It's very hard to actually get out there and investigate. Define the term spook light. Spook light is just creepy light. It's just a legendary kind of name that people have given it over the centuries. Basically, it's a light anomaly.
Yeah, people have associated. Yeah, they've associated with like a UFO, or something like that. Some have said it's a spirit or a ghost. It just depends where they're seeing it at, what location. So I don't think. Yeah. So, I mean, keep going on here with what you. I mean, you mentioned a couple locations. In the documentary itself, I mean, have you really come up with any conclusion yourself, or is it just
we're gonna go down a rabbit hole?
Okay, let's go down a rabbit hole. I love going down rabbit holes.
So these films have been out for a while. The first one we filmed in 2017, and then the other one was in I think we filmed it in 2018 or 2019, but it came out in 2019.
And where can they be seen?
The first one, actually, they're both on the Haunting History YouTube channel.
Okay, YouTube. Okay,
check it out for free.
Description. Okay.
If you go on Tubi, I've got the first one's up on Tubi right now.
Okay.
But the progress of it was with the first one, like it's set up like perfectly to be filmed guerrilla style. The way we set off to do this was we hit the Iowa one, we hit the Joplin one, and then we hit the Brown Mountains. So in Iowa, we basically conducted our research, and we were actually able to find all the tales and legends behind the light, which was about this girl who had died in a fire. And the actual story was that there was I think she was 18 years old. She had a coal oil lamp that burst and caught her dress on fire. Which caught the house on fire. She ended up perishing from that fire, and the house location was right where this light anomaly was seen. So we were able to validate the history behind this light, but over the centuries or over the decades, I guess, all the farming practices had changed the landscape of the area. So like the lights weren't really seen anymore. And we kind of feel like that the practice had just kind of wiped away. And if there was any kind of light anomaly, it was probably something that was natural. So we didn't capture anything then. And then we went to Joplin. And the messed up part about Joplin was I already did a bunch of research on it. So I had like this extensive knowledge, but our interviews, we were being told that So in Joplin, let me preface it with this. There's a road called Spooklight Road, and this is the road that everybody would travel to go see
Yeah.
the Spooklight. And there's dirt roads that run parallel to these to Spooklight Road. But during the interviews, people were talking about seeing it floating through fields and all this. So we went to the dirt road on the second night, because if you go out on the paved road that's out there, Spooklight Road, you can get ticketed now for parking on the side of the road and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of teenagers have done some messed up stuff out there. But the second night we were out there, we actually saw something, but we didn't record it because we weren't rolling. We were sitting there on this dirt road, just watching, and we watched this light develop along the road. It grew the width of the road for about 3 seconds and then shrunk back down. Didn't see it anymore. When it illuminated, it illuminated upwards. It lit up the tree that was overhanging. Didn't light up the fields. And it was a bluish tint. And
could you see through the light at all? Was it solid, bright
off in the distance? It was a good distance away. So we thought maybe some car was coming and turned off or something, and or maybe coming up behind us or something. So we drove up and down the road trying to recreate it, and we couldn't recreate it. But we didn't record it, so it didn't count, right? So we went from not having an experience to having an experience and not recording it. And then when we get to the Brown Mountains, when we get to Wiseman's View.
Was that the only thing that happened there then? Was
in Joplin?
Saw that off camera? Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that off camera. We did go out with EMF detector. We did measure. We did pick up on Spooklight Road a lot of EMF being elevated because of power lines and things of that nature. So, but on our Brown Mountain trip, on the second night from Wiseman's View, thank you, Kelly. It's good to see you. At Wiseman's View, not only did we get photos of these lights, we actually got a thermal image video of the light. And to get thermal imaging, to understand thermal imaging, it basically reads surface temperatures of objects and, shows hot and cold and everything like that. It has to have some kind of mass to it. Well, this light that we seen on a mountain peak or off a mountain peak, like miles away, I seen it for a few seconds. I got Josh. He finally got the thermal up and he just caught it for like a brief second before it blinked out, but it registered on thermal imaging. And then we also got video of a light. I took the aperture down on my camera, ran video, which makes the video choppy, but it allows a lot of light to come in. And I recorded this red light start off on the mountain and just go up into the air and then disappears. And this red light, like, it was same description of what a lot of people told us that they were seeing, was this red ball of light and everything. But so we got photo, we got thermal imaging, we got video, like it all happened on the very last night that we were out there. So like it all just like escalated on our journey throughout the filming process. And I was about to be pissed because we weren't catching anything.
Yeah.
And the last night really set it off, and it set the show up, set the movie up really nicely.
But everything was off in the distance, huh?
Yeah. Well, you're looking over mountains.
Right.
Like the whole Brown Mountains. You can see like Morganton over the mountains. Like there's two mountain peaks. One's called Hawksbill, one's called Table Rock, and in between it you can see Morganton, the lights from Morganton and everything. But these lights, again, kind of like the Joplin Spook light, have been seen for over 100 years. And they've had the Geological Society out there, could not explain it. So when we decided to do Into the Light 2, we set up Joplin. We came back to Joplin because we really wanted to get a Native American aspect of the spook light. And,
well, let me say before you hit number 2 here.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I thought it was funny that you were talking about Wiseman, and Wiseman comes in and I put her up on screen. So
Oh,
that's just a very
Kelly.
odd coincidence, but yeah, definitely welcome to the channel. Welcome to the chat. Starting off good already here. Adam for Christ, what's going on? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, the thing with all of these lights is kind of like, and we'll get into. I'd like to get your opinion on like Skinwalker Ranch and all that. It's probably the same as mine and everybody else's. It's just a spot, a location. I think probably as you go on here,
I'm
I
gonna blow
think
your mind. I'm gonna blow your mind.
okay. I'm thinking. There are places where, stuff like this just happens, and you're going to see it, and there's really never going to be a conclusion. Are we ever going to get a conclusion to Skinwalker Ranch? I don't know. But anyways, I just wanted to say that let's continue on. Part 2, you continue it, go from there.
So we go to Joplin. We set up a meeting with some of the elders. There was a powwow in Wyandotte, Oklahoma. We went to this powwow, met with some of the elders. They told us some of the stories that they were handed down about the spook light and some of the beliefs about these things. And, there were, for some reason, one of them started going off about the little people of the forest, and which I thought it was odd at the time, right?
Yeah.
Right here in the Ozarks, a lot of legends and lore. So another location, we set up our second location was at a place called the Board Camp Crystal Mine in outside of Mena, Arkansas. This place is amazing. You can go down there. You can mine for crystals. It's really cool. The owners are very nice about it. So the reason we wanted to go down there was they were seeing light anomalies, which, we thought it was piezoelectric energy. And this is an aspect we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
So we get down there and it's very apparent that we kind of discovered something huge here because when they discovered these little light anomalies, they brought their son out there. They had a stage built out there. It's probably 60 acres of land. And they would sit out on the stage and watch these light anomalies. Well, one night, the husband and wife and their son were watching, and there's this 3 beams of light that just shot up from the top of the hill. And they said it was about 300 feet up and it was cut off at the top, lasted for about 10 seconds. And then it dissipated. And they went up there and they found that all their tools, the fence posts, all the stuff that was up there was magnetized. There were burn marks on the trees. And so they didn't know what the hell that was. They couldn't get a straight answer from anybody.
This sounds like Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, the beams of light. Okay, go on.
So then after we went and visited the event site where also all the trees in one area are starting to bow over like this, like creating a dome, if you would. Shortly after that, we were told about their Sasquatch sightings. And we were given a tour of the property, showing all these signs of Sasquatch behavior and markings and tree structures, things like that. And we're just like, okay, we came out here for lights. Now we've got Bigfoot. We've got possibly UFOs. So we just kind of humored it, right? And they had castings of feet print and stuff like that. So it was kind of wild. The first night we sat out on the thing, out on their stage, and we saw, like, it's not in the show because we couldn't get any footage of it. We watched the UFO, or technical term UFO, unidentified object, go across the sky and disappear behind a cloud and did not reappear. So that was weird.
I still say UFO. It's UAP now, right?
Yeah,
but whatever.
So we went to the library the next day and started doing some research and everything, and I was like, I'm going to look up something. So I get online and I look up UFO sightings in the area, Bigfoot sightings in the area. And then I went broader and went with the whole United States and to see the density of sightings in this area. And I started noticing that in the locations where you have the spook lights, you have high density of UFO and Bigfoot sightings. So we ended up squatching the second night, and we had some pretty close encounters. I would say. I had a rock whiz by my head. It's on video. Josh had rocks thrown at him. I actually sent him off in the woods by himself in the middle of the night, and he's a very timid person.
Okay.
So on one aspect, it's humorous, but on the other
Yeah.
aspect, like as I'm watching the footage to
Mhm.
edit, I'm feeling the tensity because I know what he's experiencing, and we
Yeah.
had a lot of strange experiences out there. In fact, the end of night one, it was about, I want to say 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up because I was hearing talking. It's not your normal you and I talking or
Yeah.
people talking out in the woods. It sounded like a mixture of caveman grunting and a bad Japanese or karate movie, you know, one of those old,
Okay.
one of those things.
Huh.
And I'd never heard that before until I stumbled upon a recording called the Sierra Sounds. It was a recording done in 1978
Mm.
from the Sierra Mountains, where they said that there was a clan of Bigfoot
Right.
talking, and they sounded exactly like I heard. So I started recording with my cell phone, and the talking had stopped, but the hand claps started happening, and we were warned about the hand claps. Like, this is something that they would hear out there, was because they didn't want to just use rocks and clap them. They would actually clap their hands, and I actually picked it up on my cell phone recording. So that was strange. And
So
by the end of the
clapping of their hands, huh?
yeah, it's I
Very
mean,
odd. Something new I never heard. Huh.
so by the end of the film, we started putting things together. Like, I started working things in my mind. After the first film, I discovered that there was a college that was trying to recreate these light anomalies in a lab setting. And the only way they could do that was using elements of plasma to create this. Now, plasma doesn't just happen in nature. And what they were recreating, they had to produce the plasma. Um, and then in between the films, while I was doing my radio show, I was doing research on the Hadron Collider, and they were talking about how they were opening up small black holes, and when they would do that, there would be elements of plasma being left behind.
Mm.
So I got to taking those bits of information, and then what we experienced out at the crystal camp. I got to putting this puzzle together. I'm like, there's people that theorize Bigfoot is an interdimensional being.
Yep.
And if you're an alien, you're not going to travel through space at light speed and avoid every asteroid, planet, whatever. You have to open up a rip in time and space, the
Yeah.
wormhole, do that. So if both of them are opening up rips in time and space, creating these portals, is there a residue being left behind that we're seeing as these lights? So being that these light anomalies are very popular in these areas that have dense sightings,
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably a big part of what's happening. And what's happening out at Skinwalker Ranch is they're seeing these portals open up with these spaceships disappearing. They're seeing these light anomalies. And then on top of that, they're having these beings, these skinwalkers appearing. So they've got to be traveling from a parallel universe, rip in space and time, some kind of portal, something.
Yep.
And these light anomalies are just residue from this rip in space and time. So, and that might be why Bigfoot's always blurry in photos. Maybe he is disturbing the field around him to disappear. They say that we use 90% of our brains. There's 10% that isn't being used. What would happen if we use, say, 94%? Would we be able to control everything?
Yeah.
I mean, quantum physicists have already theorized that we can actually manipulate our reality with our mind right now. So if we have that extra oomph, could we do it?
Yeah, no, I believe so. I mean, we're connected to this universe in ways we don't even understand. WTF? Yeah, that is one theory. Do you have another theory, WTF? Tell me about it. Again, if anybody's got a question, please throw it out there. But I kind of agree with you, Dave. I have for a long time now that places like Skinwalker Ranch and other places, they're just like they're with the portals and all that. They're just locations that like these ley lines and everything. It's a point where the dimensions open up and allow this activity and things to happen. And like you said, I think the lights are just a part of that. Something that's just people are able to visually see. When it comes to the Bigfoot and the UFOs, I believe the same thing. That's why we get footprints of Bigfoot. Uh, did I say that right?
Bigfoot. Yeah.
Footprints of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or Sasquatch.
yeah, just stopping, and you're like, where did they go? What happened? It just disappeared.
And the areas, like, you'll see Bigfoot sightings all across the US, but
Right.
the areas where there's the densest amount of sightings are going to be in geological locations that are rich in minerals, like quartz
Right.
crystals or what have you, limestone, even energy retaining minerals. So that's it's interesting. I mean, for sure. So
Well, I mean, it's hard to try to figure all of this out. We just kind of thank you, Sweet Indigo, super chat $5. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are all awesome every stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, make sure you definitely go check out his links in the description below and all that, and look him up on Facebook, David Glidden. But yeah, it's hard, I mean, even looking at. I keep bringing up Skinwalker Ranch because it's kind of at the top of the heap
yeah.
at the moment because of everything that's going on and the hype and the publicity that's out there. But all of the activity and all throughout the centuries, Native Americans talked about, the folklore goes on and on and on. This has been happening forever, it seems, and we can come up with ideas like they're trying to do, but we really still don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is intriguing, and which is what keeps us going, right? To get the
Absolutely.
answers we want. But on that second documentary, the first place that you went to, the Little People.
Oh, in Joplin. We
Yeah.
just talked to a lot of the Native American folk about the light.
Yeah, and any conclusion on the Little People that you see there? I mean,
Well, I
what
mean, I don't know if I've never really done a lot of research into the Little People of the woods. I know parts of Oklahoma, they have these thoughts and theories about these little people. Some people would probably call them elves. Depends which country you're from.
Right.
But Native Americans lore has a lot of fascinating aspects to it, and the Little People is just one of the big ones around here. Here, northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, eastern Oklahoma. But I haven't done a lot of research into the Little People. But the fact that they brought it up was actually kind of surprising. Now, Joplin also has a lot of UFO activity. One of the most amazing experiences that somebody's had is that I've read about has been out there in Joplin. So it just clicks for me. And I'm not saying my theories for everybody. It's just this is just based off of what I've experienced.
Nobody knows 100% what's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to, but the Little People, I knew it was more elfish like or that type, but a lot of people talk about aliens, smaller aliens in the area too.
Yeah. Very well.
Whatever. But that does bring me, I do want to, it seems like you didn't do too much investigation over all of these years about the Little People or elves or gnomes or creatures like that, elementals, fairies, stuff like that.
No, the only time I ever touch on any of that is usually on my podcast on Boogeyman Radio, depending on the show topic. But as far as the filming goes, no, we didn't touch on that at all. Because at first it was secondhand, it was just information in passing.
Yeah.
So now we did want to shoot a third one this year, but we weren't able to raise the funds to get that accomplished. We had some really cool experiments planned. We're going to visit the Brown Mountains again and the Crystal Camp, running some frequencies, much like what they're doing now on Skinwalker Ranch show. Be, throughout my podcast, we did a show on frequencies and talking about mandalas and the ancient vimanas, how they would create propulsion with sound, and how sound, believe it or not, has antimatter. There's photons that have actual antimatter. It has anti-gravitational properties. So if you find that right frequency, can you develop flying vehicles? Can you develop a rip in space and time with frequency? That was something that we were going to test and try out at these locations that have high mineral content, high energy content. So
life is complicated, ain't it,
Dave? It is. When you have goals like that, it's like hard to get people riled up for it,
Well, and it's hard to wrap your brain around it, because it's like when you mention sound and frequencies, just hearing sound and frequencies break up particles and things we don't even know is happening in the air, just me talking right now. So if you actually pinpoint and force sound or frequencies or energy in certain, and this has been done over and over through the decades, a lot of it we don't know about because it's secret, and whatever. But there's tremendous things that are happening, and there's not enough time in the day for us to even figure this out. Maybe when we pass one day. But the reason I brought up the elves and fairies and all that kind of stuff is because, man, I'm a big fan of The Hobbit, one of my favorite books ever.
Right.
And folklore talks of these things. You know what I mean? So again, do spirits, does energy from the other side make these creatures look the way they look throughout the ages? Listen, I won't get into that story again. I do have a gnome story that I've told many times on the channel, but because I did see one when I was a kid, me and my uncle. It's verified by two people. Red hat, green outfit, about 7, 8, 10 inches, whatever.
They prefer little people.
Yeah, right. But and again, is it technically how they look, or is it just what we're seeing because that's what we're thinking we're seeing? I don't know. It's complicated. I think you get what I'm saying. So let me go to WTF. Sometimes I can start talking. I don't even know what I'm talking about, Dave. So that's just how it goes. He's getting happy birthday text too. Happy birthday to Dave. Yeah. WTF says rare creatures that live in secluded areas that rarely come close to civilization is my number one theory. Normal biological creatures that are uncategorized.
Now, there are some things that have happened that support that theory too. When you talk to, there's logging companies that make their employees sign non-disclosure agreements. So if something happens, they're not allowed to talk about it, especially when they start cutting into these habitat areas. And those are actually upheld by the government too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew that. Interesting. Question, Travis, what do you think makes spirits visible sometimes and not visible other times? Why can some see them and not others? Okay, there you go. If you can answer that.
There's so many theories that you could kind of push out there. One of them I like a demonstration that you can imagine in your mind is like, say if there's two universes that run parallel to each other and you have something dividing that. Say for the good majority, it's like a brick wall. And then at one point you have a screen. If you were to take your thumb and mash it into the screen, are you going to push all your thumb through it? Or are you going to push parts of your thumb through it? That's one thing I like to kind of present. If you think of it as multi dimensions, Carl Sagan did a really good job of describing this. If you ever check out The Fourth Dimension with Carl Sagan, you'll see a lot of things that relate to the paranormal field and how we experience ghosts and also experiencing life after death or near death experiences. But just think of like if a fourth dimensional being were to come to a third dimension to present themselves to us, we would not be able to see them in a fourth dimensional
State,
view point of view.
yeah,
We could only see in 3 dimensions, so we wouldn't be able to see the entire entity. We would
yeah,
just see what we can see. So like if a ghost is a technically 4-dimensional being, we're only going to see it in 3 dimensions. So there could be a dimensional thing happening there. There could be a barrier. There could be like a breakup, a breakup of molecules and energy. Um, what's his name? Thomas Edison. I
yep,
believe that certain molecules or cells, he would call them life cells, retain bits of information, bits of our memory, bits of consciousness. So when we die, that energy just kind of disperses into the ether, and possibly, from time to time might recollect, creating a residual effect where we would see like a residual haunting. But if all the pieces aren't recollecting, you're not getting the full information. You're not getting all the information, so you're only going to get part of it. So there's a lot of theories that you can actually develop out of. I just want to say science because science is fun and cool. But
yep.
there's a lot of theories that are floating around out there. But nothing in the paranormal field is fact, like hardcore stamped fact. It's all information that we're still trying to siphon.
Yeah, it's still kind of a new thing. I mean, it's been tinkered with since the beginning of the century, not this one, last one.
Yeah.
But it really didn't kick off until what? Can
The
we say late?
1800s.
Well,
Yeah.
but really late 70s
As
and
far as
on.
modern ghost hunting, yeah,
Yeah,
I would say, 70s, it kind of picked up. It in the 1800s, it really picked up, and then it
yeah,
died down, and then it picked up again in the 1920s and 30s, and then it died down again, and then it picks back up, and then it died down in the 90s, and then in the 2000s, it picked right back up. So we're seeing
yeah,
this roller coaster.
yeah, yeah.
Eventually, we're going to see it go away, and I think we're
Mm.
starting on that verge. We're starting on that trend,
You think
but
so?
I
Okay.
I do, because
Okay.
there's nothing new that's coming forward. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
I think a
kind
lot
of
of people are
dying
going to
back.
disappear.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of dying back down. The late 1800s, I kind of really dug that history wise because of the sciences that they had,
Yeah.
and the psychic mediums and the ectoplasm and all that. There's something about that Victorian era that just kind of intrigued me. They were all out to try to figure out what's going on in the paranormal field.
Well, a lot of them were, but a lot of them were charlatans too. I
Oh yeah.
mean,
Well,
and it's no
still
different
today.
from YouTube today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
spirit
thing
photography.
happening.
Um,
Yep, yep.
spirit
Uh,
spirit photography is one of my favorite things to make fun of, is because like if you go into paranormal groups, the paranormal ones, there's always people posting these pictures, and
yeah.
I always tell people that meet me, don't show me your pictures. I wasn't there. I don't know the conditions. I don't know if it's real or not. I'll just say cool picture. But
Right.
I actually faked a photo and posted it in a group page and let
Okay.
everybody,
Comment
oogle
on
over
it.
it, right? And then
Yeah.
underneath that, in the same comment thing, I posted the video showing how I did that photo.
Mm,
Like I made a video on how I faked the photo.
okay.
So I was
Huh.
showing people this is fake, 100% fake. I still had people saying that it was a real photo.
Oh, geez.
I'm like,
Okay.
you guys
Yeah.
not.
Well, I mean, they're tough times. I mean, come on. Anyways, WTF? They don't dare tell us the two mining and forestry interests, megabucks and profit. Okay, I guess you're just making a point there.
Yeah, if
I
it
got.
gets marked as an endangered species, then that would stop the cutting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Let me ask you. Let's get into some of the locations that you've visited. I'd really like to hear your experiences,
Yeah.
like right off the top, your most uh, haunted place that or most activity that you've witnessed in a paranormal investigation.
It's easy. Brown Mansion, Coffeeville, Kansas. That was I've investigated that place probably 72 times, maybe more.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of times, Dave. Okay.
When the activity's good, you go back. Uh, and
Yeah.
it was so good. Like it would happen. We'd have stuff happen like almost every time we went. And we started doing Yeah, orbs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Don't get me started. She
yeah.
knows my button.
No, no, yeah.
So with the Brown Mansion,
Mhm.
we ended up like hosting tours and raising money for the mansion. We'd have people come and ghost hunt with us, and even people that were skeptical on these events, like they would have experiences. We'd have mass witnesses, like witnessing shadow figures walking around, and that place has got like some of my top experiences. I've been in that place. It was really cool. You're only 30 minutes away from Coffeyville. Go check out the I keep wanting to say Brown Mountains, Brown Mansion.
Yeah.
Just take a tour. You'll get to. It's an amazing place. Like, historically, very awesome. Haunting wise, like I don't know if they'll even talk about the hauntings. They probably won't, because they didn't want the place being associated with the paranormal anymore. But too late.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like, it's too late.
Yeah,
Because I
Huh.
talk about it so much.
Yeah.
There was one instance where there's a guy on our team who's like 6'2". I'm only 5'9", in case anybody was wondering. We saw the shadow at the end of this hall in the basement. In the basement, the halls make a square, and myself and one other investigator go down this way. Barry, the 6'2" guy, goes down this way. We meet at the end, didn't see anybody, so we start walking back, and I'm talking to Jeremy, who's next to me, and I'm looking over my shoulder and talking to Barry and everything. And we get down to the end of the hall, and Barry comes out of the other hall.
Yeah.
And Jeremy and we stop it and look at each other, and we look behind us, and there's nobody behind us. But the entire time we're walking down this hallway, there's a tall dude walking right behind us, and we're talking to it, thinking it's Barry the entire time.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty fascinating experience.
The halls made a square.
Yeah, in the
And in
basement.
the middle was the basement area.
It's all in the basement area. It makes a square. There's another hall in the middle of the square, and then off to the side there's like some rooms. But
Sounds
yeah,
odd. I'd like to see that setup. That's
it
interesting that they
is
made it that way.
interesting. I think one of the hallways they had set up as a bowling alley.
Okay.
They were a very well-to-do family. Like they
Okay.
had
Yeah.
their hands in oil, lumber, the banks, natural gas, everything you could think of to make it somebody a billionaire right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So shadow figures, did you ever get any intelligent hauntings at any of these places that you kind of delve into and were like, wow, you know?
There's a place in Kansas that has wowed me beyond belief.
Okay.
Something I've never experienced before in all my years of doing this. It's a place called the 1859 or 1858 Garnett House Hotel. It was originally built as a hotel, and then changed hands and became different things, like a doctor's office, a school, and all this stuff. But there's something there that definitely has intelligence, because there was a period of time that I was going there frequently, and I guess I built up like a relationship with this entity. I don't know what it is, if it was human, non-human, demonic, whatever. But it was actually starting to get to a point where it would actually do things when I asked it to do things, like on cue. It was impressive. I was able to show like other people, like, hey, come up here, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, make a sound for this person to hear you, and it would make a sound. Turn on this light, it would turn on a light.
Any EVPs or anything to get an idea of what it was or who it was, or no?
I've had audible hissing, growls, things like that. I was literally on a live stream one night, and I was in the house all by myself.
Okay.
And I'm standing at the top of the stairs, and what I heard audibly was kind of a growl, but what comes over the audio on the live stream was a hiss. And then it started setting off, like they had toys in the upstairs, and there was like a couple Furbies, and I don't know if it was doing this mimicking sound or what it was doing, but you would hear these Furbies going off. I would go into the room, and they're not doing a damn thing at all. And I would stand there, nothing. So I would leave, and I would hear it again.
Okay.
And I would go back in there, nothing's going off. So I thought maybe there was a third Furby somewhere. I tore that house apart looking for a third Furby.
Wow.
No, this wasn't in Coffeyville. This is in Garnett, Kansas. And then while on the live stream, the owner jumps in on the live stream. I'm like, this is getting weird. I'm asking it to make noises and do these things, and it's doing it. And then I was like, watch, I'll show you. And I asked it to make a noise. There's a bang downstairs. And I asked to hear its voice again.
Mhm.
And I get that growl hiss, and it comes through again on the live stream. And ever since that night, like it was just off the wall. And I haven't been back in a while. I need to go back there.
Okay.
But yeah, that place was odd.
Okay.
Best way I can put it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Sweet Indigo does have something. Has anything ever? Wait, has ever been an entity that came home with you?
Maybe.
Is there stuff happening at your house there, Dave?
And there's always like I see shadow figures every now and then, but like
Okay.
I don't know if that comes home with me from a location or if it's just something that's been here.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different things, but I'm not one of those. I'm not a religious person.
Mhm.
I don't protect myself. I don't say prayers or anything like that when I ghost hunt. So like if something follows me, it follows me. I'm just gonna warn it. I walk around naked here.
There you go. All right. Angel, I guess is she's the psychic. I guess she's
She's done a reading there.
Accompanied you to some of your investigations. I would say.
She does remote viewing.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Angel, yeah. You know, if you can get a hold of me, or I don't know how I would get a hold of you. Maybe I'll ask Dave after this, but I'd love to have you on the show. Talk to you too, if you're up to it. But let's see. WTF says, did you have a second or third person around to make sure that there was not another person making noises?
Well, I was in the house by myself, so
yeah.
Like
I was going to say, you know, now even me.
Yeah, you can be skeptical. I understand it. I'm skeptical with everything. So, like, evidence is subjective. Everything in the paranormal is subjective. I can only tell you my experience, and whether you choose to believe me is on you, really.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that if you get into the field, that's one of the top priorities is to make sure you know exactly where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
If there's going to be anybody coming from the outside in,
Yes.
How far off are other people? You need to know these things, you know, because if there's even the slightest doubt that it could have been somebody, then there goes the whole magical experience of what you just witnessed, you know.
Yeah. And if I'm with people, I'll ask them if they made noises. Are you talking? Are you whispering? Don't whisper. Like I have, whenever I was running my team, I had strict protocols. Like it was stricter than what you would find today. Like I literally had a rule sheet, and if anybody broke these rules, they would not investigate. Like I'm very strict about my investigations. The way I do things, very peculiar compared to what people do now.
I mean, it just sounds like you're being a little bit more strict and careful with what you're doing, and that's definitely okay. So, let me see. There was a question from Connie, and I don't want to let that go by. My question number 2, where or what would you like to look into? Is there anything other?
I have a bucket list.
Yeah, we all do. So, yeah, go ahead.
So my bucket list would consist of Poveglia Island off of the coast of Italy.
Okay.
It's where they would take people during the plague and bury them, and there was a hospital out there they would just put them in. And then Tombstone, Arizona. Always wanted to investigate Tombstone.
Oh,
been at the top of my list. And the Goldfield Hotel, so I could debunk Zach Bagans.
Oh God! Did you say Zach Bagans? Yeah, I hear you. Let's get back to Italy again, where they
Poveglia Island,
the plague. How notorious is that? What's going on there? Is there a long history there?
Well, I mean, the plague was a long time ago, but
I mean,
But like as far as like legends go, like the people that drive boats, they won't even go near that island.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. But you know, there's something about being in an old hospital that just excites me.
Same here. Most people it would scare the living daylights
Yeah.
out, and I get it, but
And the older the better. And,
yeah.
and I want to go to Italy.
Okay.
So it's just
Yeah.
right up my alley. It all lines up, Oh, and also
Okay.
Dracula's Castle. I want to go to that as well someday.
Isn't Dracula's Castle kind of just a ramshackled area of fallen down bricks? Am I wrong?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But still, it's the location.
It's
So
the
I
location,
get
it's
it.
the
Yeah.
history. Like, I just like feeling the history of these places. Like, there's the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It's one of the
Yeah.
most haunted hotels in America.
Mhm.
But I like going there because when I walk in, I feel something from the hotel. Like, it just, I don't want
Yeah.
to say I'm sensitive or nothing like that. I never claim to be sensitive or anything, but I just feel, you
Yeah.
feel the history, like you feel the energy from the building, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, there's certain you don't have to be sensitive or psychic all of the time. If the
Yeah.
energy is there and it's high enough, you're going to feel it. And there are places around that it doesn't matter who goes in there; they usually feel something. It's like, wow, I just have the oddest feeling, when I come
Yeah.
in here. Google can't see me. How you doing, my friend? They can
Only
see
you can
well,
see.
anyways, Night Fright Talk Show, good to see you. They don't let anyone on, that island anymore, do they?
I think you have to have special permission, like very special permission,
Yeah, this is like a army of,
probably from government or something.
ghostly zombies walking around, and, I mean, that would kinda be cool. And listen, what happened to all those people are terrible,
No, absolutely.
and that's part of what, I think deep down inside, that's part of what all of this is about. Not talking aliens or interdimensional or Skinwalker Ranch. I think the highest priority for me is the spirits or the hauntings, and
Mhm.
especially the intelligent ones, and or the loved ones who somehow get a message back or appear when they've just died. Like 3 a.m. they get a call from their mother, and 3 a.m. or the story that got me was her grandmother came down from the ceiling, this woman, and it was 3 a.m. and she said everything will be all right. And next day she calls her mother, tells her what happened. She said, well, your grandmother passed away last night at 3 a.m. It's like stuff like that. I want to know what's going to happen when we pass on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's like top priority for me. Everything else.
See, that's the thing. Like, and I don't know a lot of paranormal researchers or investigators that will, really talk about this because I don't know, maybe it's not cliche, but controversial, I guess. I don't know.
Mm,
Maybe they just don't want to put themselves out there to seem like they know what they're talking about. But my personal experience and belief on the way people experience the paranormal and get into things, like I'll explain it like, for everybody or anybody that wants to know. Like, I think there's levels of this paranormal research or ghost hunting or whatever.
mhm.
um you know People go through stages of it for different reasons, and I think obviously each one of them's a personal reason. Like, for me, it wasn't about seeking out a loved one or anything like
Yeah,
that. I've always been into the macabre. My family always told ghost stories since I was
yeah.
a kid. I had 4 older brothers, so I was watching Faces of Death when I was like 5 years old.
Right.
I was always in love with the weird stuff, and
Yeah.
you know things throughout my life just kind of clicked it
Took
up a
you to
notch.
where you are now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then, one night I was watching Ghost Hunters with a friend of mine, and we're like, I wonder if there's anything about, to do with this, So we
Yeah.
went out and uh, well, they had an experience. I didn't. I got mad about that. And I went back out there, had my own experience. And then I just wanted to find out what the hell that was that I'd seen. And it took me on this journey. And it went from, trying to find out what these things were, what I experienced, get my answers, and then I started helping, homeowners and people that were having experiences find answers, and then now it got into I want to research the science behind it. I want to see if there's anything further that we can develop to make a solid case for the paranormal field. It's more about that now than it is my personal experience and helping homeowners and stuff. Because today, any homeowner that has problems, not any, a lot of them, I'll say, they just want exposure. They want somebody, they think it's cool to have like ghost hunters come to their home or something. They think they're going to be on TV, or they'll make up stuff just to get people out there. So that's why I got out of helping families, because I got a lot of that. But there's the stages. And for me, like, I got my answer early, what I wanted to know. I got my answer early, and then it just continued into the research aspect of it. So you have your ghost hunter looking for a thrill. You have the paranormal investigator who's helping families. And then you have the researcher who's digging in for scientific proof.
Yeah.
There's stages. And I think a lot of, if not every person in the paranormal field goes through those stages.
Oh yeah. And I think once you have an experience, a personal experience, then there's no doubt in your mind. I mean, there's skepticism on what you actually experienced, but once you actually, like, I've heard voices. Like there was a period when I was a young kid where everywhere my grandparents went, there was paranormal activity. There were spirits. There it was a haunted house. There were shadow figures. You name it, it was happening, and it was just centered around my grandparents, mostly my grandmother. And I heard all this and seen a lot of this when I was young. So there's no doubt in my mind stuff's going on. But, so when you have that experience, it just takes you to a different level. You know what I mean? So,
what's funny is my experience that really set it off in motion was I saw a ball of light.
Okay. Well,
and then the documentaries.
Documentaries. I get that. There was a place. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Excellent Angel. Almost missed this one. Let's see if we get a chance. My room at the basin, Ryan 79 says, in Eureka Springs was right below the bar. At 11 p.m. at night, I could hear people playing pool. Went up to complain. Closed since 10 p.m. Yeah, that's typical, right, Dave? I mean, stuff going on.
I've got a really awesome photo from the Basin Park Hotel that matched up. Like, it was given to us by hotel management, but it matched up with, the story we were given about this room and the experience we had in this room. I wish there was a way I could share files, but like, it was a really cool photo of this ghost girl, standing out in the hallway, but it wasn't like the ghost apps. Like, it wasn't one of those clear photos like that. It was, I feel like it was pretty legit. And we ended up like matching everything up with the hall and making sure that it was our room and everything like that. It's really cool. But, the Crescent Hotel there in Eureka Springs, I even got to do on season 6, I got to do the underground of Eureka Springs, which I don't think anybody's ever filmed, did a ghost hunt of. But Eureka, the whole town of Eureka Springs is amazing. It's all pretty much built out of limestone. Very awesome.
You said underground city?
Well, part of the city is actually underground.
Okay. Yeah.
There was like a rock slide or something that kind of elevated
opened it up.
Yeah, covered up a lot of the buildings, and then they just built streets on top of the rock slide. So you go underground, there's like where you can dig out and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of cool stuff like that cities were built upon cities.
Yeah. And real quick for Kelly, there's a cemetery. They did bury some of the dead there on Poveglia.
Okay.
Buried a lot of the dead, actually, to keep it away from the city to reduce the plague.
Right. That was not a good time for anybody. Google can't see me. If the world knew what happened when you die, would it make us happier, or would it change how we treat each other? Oh God, that's just too difficult of a question, right?
I mean, I think it just depends on your religious beliefs. If you're not,
exactly,
probably wouldn't affect you.
Yeah. There was, let's see, what, I've never heard of this place before, but you visited it. Pythian Castle?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this, because listen, I mean, it sounds really, really like a cool place. So
it's a cool place. It was an orphanage. It was also where it during World War II, they held POWs from Japan, Germany. I want to say Italy as well. But they had POWs in the basement of this place. Now there's an owner. She's been fixing it up for like over a decade now. But there's a lot of bad things that supposedly happened. At the time, it was an orphanage. And of course, with POWs, who knows what happened in there.
Yeah.
I've been in there a couple times. Didn't really have a whole lot of experiences in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you've got that on your channel there, Haunting History, on YouTube channel. Everybody go check it out. Descriptions are below. Yeah, the one intrigue. See, I mean, listen. I'm interested in serial killers too. The psychology of why people would do that,
Yeah.
and the history behind all of that. Which is another subject altogether. But it kind of led me to my interest in like old insane asylums and the things that used to go on in the medical field back in the early part of the century. It's just insane, Dave. And it's no wonder that there's so much negative energy in a lot of these so-called spots or hospitals or what ended up becoming schools and other places. But I mean, your thoughts on that too, I guess.
Well, you have a mix of emotions, and emotions will disperse energy. Like if you've walked into a room where people are arguing, you can feel the tension, right?
Right. Well said.
If people are happy and laughing and stuff, you're attracted to that. It's good energy. So the emotions that get put out at a hospital or an insane asylum can vary.
Yeah.
And if energy cannot be destroyed, nor, who's to say that energy's not like dispersing?
Energy never dies. Electricity, you can't kill electricity. It always goes somewhere.
Yeah, it'll disperse.
Yes.
But if it recollects again, like Edison said, if it has like a memory to it and recollects, then you're gonna hit like when you go to a room and you're like, man, I feel like I shouldn't be here. Maybe that's that energy that's recollecting, and you're just kind of feeling it.
Yeah. No, I like well said on what you did there with the going into a room and there's an argument and stuff on the negative energy. That just goes to prove, how, energy can surround negative and positive, so
that's what I always tell people when they go to an investigation. Don't go in there with like, angry. Don't go angry, have a good positive energy when you go to a place, because like if you think of like being out at a bar or a club or something, you're going to want to hang around the people that are having fun, not the people that are, depressed or upset or anything like that.
Yeah. So. No, definitely. Ryan 79. He just Googled you, David. Not far away from me. I'm in Joplin. No. So very cool. Okay. Connie has another question. Let's throw.
Well, Ryan, I expect you to be at one of these events that I'm hosting in October and November.
Yeah. Okay. So Ryan, there you go. We'll talk about that let's take this question and then we'll start to kind of round things out here. Was there anything you seen, heard, etc., and taken to someone in your field with same? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, she rewrote it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
That can't be explained or by anyone else. Well, anything you capture is subjective. You can't take a single piece of video or audio or anything to somebody. There's always going to be somebody that says it's this or it's this, so like I have some amazing captures that I know the environment, I know the circumstances surrounding that piece of evidence, but you weren't there, you don't know, so you have to base your opinion off your trust of me.
Yep. And that's one of the hardest things to do, right? No matter how well somebody comes off, it's tough to 100% believe what you've heard. But just like Art Bell and a lot of the stories that he took when it came from a police officer, or there were multiple people, or UFO sightings where entire villages seen this craft come, down, and beings came out, whole villages,
Yeah,
it's like, how can you deny that? So, that,
yeah.
has a little bit more merit, you know what I mean, to it. So, um, anyways, let's kind of start to round this out. What else do you got in the future here? I mean, listen, it's been great talking to you, Dave. It sounds like you've really done a lot in the field and investigated a lot and got some great stories. Would
Oh
love to
yeah.
have you back on again one day, anytime.
Mhm.
But what do you got going on in the future here, and what can we expect from you?
Well, coming up in October, I've started what I'm calling the Midwest Mystery Tour. And basically what this is it's your basic paranormal event. So right now I have 5 locations booked to do these events where people can come ghost hunt with me and a mystery guest. This part of the mystery tour.
Yeah.
But you can come to these locations and investigate with me and this mystery guest. These mystery guests, some of them have had their own shows on TV, on like Discovery Plus or Discovery Network, Travel
Okay.
Channel, stuff like that. Some of them haven't. Some of them are just really great investigators that I trust and I feel like have a unique way of investigating. And when you come to one of the events, not only are you just going to be you're going to be ghost hunting with us, and you're going to be we'll do a presentation and everything, and a meet and greet, but you're also going to take part in experiments with us. Some people that know me know I like to experiment. I like to do psychological experiments. I like to do physiological experiments. And then some of the people that I'm bringing on board with these places also do experimentation or have experience building equipment or something like in that aspect.
Mhm.
So you're going to be part of a mystery experiment, and you're going to have a mystery guest. The way I'm telling people is I guarantee this is going to be the most unique event you'll ever go to. So,
Nice.
um,
Nice.
does a mystery guest bring beer? Nope. No, 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 no.
No beer at this place.
Uh, I mean,
And
that's
this is happening where again?
so we have multiple locations.
Okay.
October 25th, as of right now, is the first one that we're doing, and that's
Okay.
at Middle Point School in Middle Point, Ohio. And then October 30th, we're going to
Nice.
be at Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa, which is an amazing location. I've done like 3 or 4 episodes on haunting history from that place. I've been there a lot. caught some of my best evidence out of that place. And then I'm trying to think the order we're doing this. And then I think November 3rd, we're going to be at the Ray County Museum in Richmond, Missouri, which this museum is awesome. Probably one of the best historical museums I've ever been to. Used to be a poor farm. They actually have an elephant buried on property. There's an old cemetery in the back of it. Very cool place. And then after that, we're going to the Thomas Building in Leavenworth, Kansas, which I've never investigated. There's only been one person really that's ever investigated it, who I'm really good friends with, and she suggested this. So we're going to do that. There's also going to be a fundraiser attached to that. They're doing a really cool project for foster families.
Nice.
So anybody that comes to this, I'm encouraging to donate clothes, because she's setting up a store for foster families to come and just pick clothes for the foster kids. I've got a car full of it right now because I mentioned it to somebody. So then after that, I believe it's November 10th. I am hosting one at Carpenter's Mortuary in Gentry, Arkansas. Place was a former mortuary. It is now a haunted house attraction. So the experiments that we're going to be running at all these places are going to differ.
Yeah.
So and then the guests are going to differ on each place too. So it's going to be fun. Going to be exciting, and I think we're going to catch some really cool stuff with these experiments. I mean, it's going to be amazing.
Sounds awesome. And you're doing some good at some of these places too. So why not? That's awesome, man. Sounds like you got a good heart and all that, man. Google can't see me says Dino still has no candle. Technically, I did buy this, Google. You can't see it, but the candle, oh, I guess it went out. So the candle did go out,
Dun,
but this
dun,
is an old
dun.
Victorian candle holder.
It was a ghost. It's a
Yeah,
ghost.
something
Ghost
blew it
candle. You
out.
can't see it unless you're special.
Right. Yeah,
Psychic.
something blew it out, but I don't know what it is. I'd love to donate since Google can't see me. You don't have a site or nothing.
No, I was
Okay.
initially I was just gonna have the guests who
Okay.
purchase tickets to bring some clothes that we'll
Yeah.
donate. But people have just been like, I mentioned it to one person at work,
Yeah.
and they went and bought some clothes, brought them to me, and then another lady that overheard me telling this person about it went and got some more clothes and brought them to me. So like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Basically, what happened was in, I guess, state of Kansas, the lady that owns this building, she's a foster mom. She's fostered kids for like 20 years or something like that. But I guess state of Kansas did away with the allowance for clothing for foster families, which
Really?
initially it was like 150 almost a
Okay.
month. So they did away with that. And with school coming up, like, she was wanting to start up a store in this building, like on the second floor, where foster kids and families can come and pick out clothes that they need for school and all that. So I was like, you know what? Let me help you.
Do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a really cool thing she's doing. It's something unique and something that's necessary. So
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Before we go, anything else? Will there be anything coming up on your YouTube channels, like Haunting History or anything like that?
this October, well, actually, it'll be early November because I'm going to premiere this at Malvern Manor for that event.
Okay.
I'm working on a kind of a documentary film about the ghosts of Malvern Manor.
Okay.
And the people that attend the Malvern event are going to get to see a premiere right inside of Malvern Manor. So they're going to see the evidence, interviews, all the claims and everything like that at the place that they're going to be investigating. So that's going to be cool. Like I said, I'll be finished with that in October, but it'll premiere on the Haunting History channel in November.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Is there a good way that people can keep up with what you're doing? Just Facebook? Just
Facebook,
David
mainly.
Glidden?
Yeah. So Facebook hates me for some reason.
They hate everybody, but go ahead.
Man, they keep banning me for stuff from 2 years ago. It's really hurting.
I hear you.
I do have TikTok. Just look up my names, David_Glidden. I've got a X or Twitter. X.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, bad move. But
I
whatever.
don't have any followers on Twitter. I'm barely even on there. So, I mean, if you
Okay.
jump on there, cool. If not, don't worry about it. But mainly it's TikTok and Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, that's Facebook's where I found them, you guys. Just if you want to keep up, go over there. You can
I have
find
an
them, I'm sure.
OnlyFans.
So, well, hey, happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you.
Hopefully the rest of the night goes well for you. And we'd love to have you on again down the road.
Heck
It
yeah.
was really nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, same here. I appreciate this and appreciate everybody that's been watching and asking questions and getting involved in chat. So thank you guys.
Heck yeah. Okay, so I guess I will talk to you soon, David.
Oh yeah,
Take care, man. What?
Kelly just reminded me. Boogeyman Radio Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time on YouTube.
Okay, and that's YouTube too, and that's the link. It is in the description below. And you are one of the hosts on there. You do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I saw two different guys doing that.
Yeah, it's myself and Charles. He's my co-host.
So it's you and okay.
Yeah.
So Boogeyman Radio, check that out too. Every Tuesday night. Let's see. I don't do nothing Tuesday, not till 10. So I'll catch it too, man. Sounds good. You take care, Dave, and I'll finish up the show here. And good luck in the future, man.
I appreciate it.
Okay, take care, bud. Okay, there you go, man. David Glidden. I thought that was a very cool, casual conversation talking about the paranormal. So, yeah, there you go. Check out his links below. Keep up with them on Facebook if you want. And overnight tonight, you guys, spooky night all night long. Yes, see, I'm getting to the point to where I can't talk. mixing my words up. Already subscribed, Dave. Thank you, Connie Clary. Looks like a good crowd tonight. Thank you, each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the super chat tonight. Sweet Indigo. Yes, yes, yes. Trying to remember there. And until next time, you guys, tomorrow night we will have caption this. So it will be Frankenhooker. So you guys are going to have a good time tomorrow night, man. Can't wait for you guys to join in.